All right, I'm here talking to artist, trumpet player, poet, now Grammy-nominated Nico Segal.
Hey, what's up, world?
And you are back in LA just finishing the magnificent Coloring World Tour. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it was a crazy experience. Traveled to a bunch of beautiful places.
Do you have a favorite standout performance? I mean, you played the White House twice on SNL, Magnificent Coloring Day.
In terms of live performance, or you mean TV performance, or all of those?
Live or TV.
Yeah. I mean, the TV thing is so different from playing live. It's kind of hard to put them in the same category and try and come up with one that's better than the other. But cause I love them for different reasons, kind of. But I would say playing for the president at the White House was a very special moment for everybody in the group, considering the political climate and how much it means to be a part of this administration in some way, shape, or form.
And getting to play Sunday Candy, your song.
Yeah, that was really special.
Awesome. So just for Coloring Book as a whole, it is a chance project, but backed by the entire social experiment. So how would you describe your contributions to that?
Well, all of our contributions varied, but everybody kind of took on different types of roles. Peter was in the studio with Chance every day, working on things, and I kind of was working from a distance for most of the project. I was in a different city, so my involvement was a little different. I was mostly sending things back and forth between myself and Chance and Peter and Nate. So we were all kind of all over the place with that project. But and other people worked on the project, obviously. Some of my favorite songs on the project I didn't even have anything to do with. Or had very little to do with. So yeah, it was an incredible experience and very different from surf. So it was cool.
Did anything surprise you after the final cut?
I guess it's like I said, it's really different from surf, which was, a little bit more of my direction. So I guess you're always, in the end, somebody always makes that final decision, and for this one, it was obviously Chance's final decision. And I thought he made a lot of great ideas. He made a lot of cool things happen, and I was really happy with the way the project came out, even if I wasn't necessarily involved from with every single song from moment one to to the very end. I still felt really proud of my involvement and all the work that we had done as a collective.
So with surf, you really were, had your hands in every part of it.
Right, and some things I started and took the executive producer role kind of thing on, and some things were more of a collective approach. But in the end, I kind of had the biggest say in the direction of the song and when things were finished, and it was actually kind of a relief to hand the reins over a little to somebody, because that's a tough position to be in for anybody.
Definitely. Two of my favorite songs off of Surf, I think, are really some of the best expression coming out of your trumpet on Nothing Came to Me and Something Came to Me. And can you talk about just what you're trying to say with those songs and what they mean to you?
Yeah, that's a good question. it was important to me to have a statement on the trumpet that was mainly the trumpet, that focused on the trumpet, that was something that not everybody would consider pop music or radio friendly or something they would normally listen to, accompanied by songs with, Busta Rhymes and Quavo. I think I was trying to prove a point in that the music itself was more the point of the project than the feature list or than vocals on a song or a rapper on a song, that it was more about the music and the story of the entire album. And I felt like a moment where I was really taking the lead was kind of necessary in explaining how and why it was my album, with all these other superstars on it. It's a trumpet player's album. So I felt like that those two songs were obviously only horns, and I just felt like it was a statement to call that pop on the same album as Erykah Badu singing on a beat, and the way that they were recorded was really unique. So it was exciting musically for me to do something so different, and not think so much about traditional song structure or traditional expectations of a song, specifically in popular music today, and just trying to blur the lines a little, trying to make people see outside the box a little. Yeah.
So it sounds like kind of partially the same reason you didn't release a feature list for this project, is you just wanted people to go in blind.
Yeah, I felt like I kind of had to trick people into listening to the whole album, based on how people move so quickly through the music that they listen to today, and people don't listen to albums anymore. It's just songs, which is cool, but it's also losing a big part of the point of making an album, which is a cohesive thought through and through that can be understood and listened to as such. And not that listening to your favorite songs on your favorite albums is wrong, but I think at first, when you first listen to a new piece of music, if the only thing you care about is who is featured on it, then you're not really listening. You're just kind of there. and the music becomes less important in the same way. It becomes more wallpaper and fluff instead of something that you have to think about and care about a little bit more. So I just wanted to take away from that whole idea and prove that music has more depth than the artist name that's written next to the title of the song everywhere you look,
Definitely.
All the performers of every song in the metadata on iTunes, whenever you downloaded the album, if you looked in the info, it had everybody involved, in no particular order, of course. So you'd get violin players next to J. Cole and such. Also done very purposefully. I want people to know who was a part of it. I just didn't want it to be the headline.
So for you personally, you've mentioned inspirations ranging from Lauryn Hill to Biggie to Hector Lavoe. Is it a conscious decision to try to pull a certain sound for a certain song, or does it just kind of happen seamlessly?
Man, that's another good question. I think everybody makes art in different ways, and everybody has people that they look up to and that they get inspiration from, and grab ideas from and steal from. I came from a jazz background, so I would transcribe people's solos and learn kind of how to maneuver around my instrument that way. So I have always been a listener, and really analyze everything I listen to and try and understand it better. And music is like any other art. It happens really organically and also from all those places, from all those inspirations that you've gathered throughout your whole life, whether you even realized it or not. My parents listened to a lot of Latin music and listened to a lot of folk music, and I have always been a huge hip-hop head and jazz head, and I think all that is in my music. And sometimes it's a conscious decision to try something new, and sometimes it just happens that way, So yeah, it's all those things. It's all the inspirations, and it's all the things around me, and and trying to be unique amongst all those things, amongst all those inspirations.
What about inspirations from new artists? Who do you vibe with most?
Man, I'm a big Frank Ocean fan.
Went on tour with him.
I like his songs a lot. I did go on tour with him, but I was a fan before, and I'm still a fan of his music, and all his new stuff too. I'm a huge Francis and the Lights fan. I think he's brilliant and one of the, for sure, new age tastemakers in music, and he's a unique genius mind and a great friend. So I'm a big fan of Francis, and trying to think who else. Man, that's really, I listen to a lot of old music.
For sure.
I'm friends with a lot of people that I'm fans of, like Saba and No Name and Jamila Woods. I guess it's a different type of relationship or fandom, but I'm a fan of some of my friends for real. I'm a fan of Joey Perp. I'm a fan of Knox Fortune. I love my friends' music. Yeah.
And now I gotta ask about the next social experiment project, if you can tell anything about it.
What I can say is we all make a whole lot of music, and some of that is together and some of it is separate, but all of us have tons of music to release and be a part of. And I'm not sure what order they'll come out in, but it's safe to say everybody's making a ton of music. So, I think it's all about the timing and finishing things, and I'm not quite sure what's going to be the next one, but there are lots on the way.
And for you, a project you've mentioned only pretty vaguely was Ruby Robot, a collab with Owen Hill. Is that still in the works?
Man, yeah, you do your research. Ruby Robot is a secret band that's not really a secret, but it's a secret because we never released any music. But we've played our songs live in Chicago a couple times, and Ruby Robot was a big jumping point for me in writing and producing that helped me make Surf in the end. And yeah, it's a it's a project that I'm not really sure what will happen to, but I hope I hope one day I will release some of those songs for the world and they can hear them, because I've been the only one able to listen to them for a long time. And I'm a very different musician and producer now than I was when I was working on Ruby Robot stuff. But I think it's important for the story, for the timeline, to show how it all makes sense, you know, how it all came together. So yeah, that project has been on our minds for a few years now, and we'll see. We've been talking about releasing it, and we'll see how it goes.
Along with the timeline, any plans to work with Vic Mensa again, or any songs with him that you have? You guys used to have really fantastic chemistry, I thought.
Yeah, that's my homie. We do have some music, but I'm not sure what's going to happen to it. You never really know. When it comes to just making music with your friends, sometimes it turns into a big deal, and sometimes it's just that song that we made that one time. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen to some of that music, but I'm sure we will continue collaborating in our musical careers for sure.
And now, last question. It's been a pretty incredible year, was 2016 for Chicago hip-hop. It seems like just every major artist putting out a project. Who do you think has been most slept on? Who would you like to shout out?
Man, I mean, I don't know if he's been slept on, but Saba put out an amazing album this year, Bucket List, and I think he's one of the most exciting rappers, producers, people in general in the Chicago community, and I think his project is super dope, and people should listen to it. Yeah.
Definitely. It's one of my favorite albums of the year.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot of people putting it on their list the way I felt like they should. But even besides lists and stuff, it's just a dope album. I liked it a lot when I first heard it, and feel like everybody should listen to it.
Word. Any parting words for your fans out there?
Yeah, man, I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you for listening to this music and for thinking outside the box and coming to this music with an open mind. We do things very differently, and things like Saturday Night Live and, you know, the Grammys and everything that's been and playing for the president and his family, you know, those things are huge for us the same way they feel huge for everybody. You know, it's this year has been incredible, and next year's going to be even crazier. This year, 2017, and we're just excited to keep releasing music and keep engaging this music conversation that we've been having as a social experiment. And yeah, man, we love y'all. Y'all the reason that we're doing this. So just want to give a huge shout out to everybody listening and supporting our cause.
All right, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me.